Hey, welcome back. It's Josh at Hardy Brothers Outdoors, and today we got two key things that we're going to try to accomplish. One is we are going to get internet to the barn door. That's about 120 feet away from the side of the house over here, where I currently have a Wi-Fi repeater, which does not get internet into that barn because of the metal siding. So I'm sorry to disappoint all of the tractor enthusiasts that are on this channel. We are not getting the backhoe out today. We are not going to trench in an internet line to the barn door. We're going to beam internet from the side of the house over to the barn door and into a access point inside of there. We are going to use one of these. This is from Olna. It is a wireless bridge. I've done this once before. Our reviews channel with a different product. I've actually been sent a new product that has higher speeds. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to walk over to the barn door. I picked up one of these thermometers. It's a infrared thermometer. We're going to check out the temperature in there. We're going to turn on the 75 watt heater that I have in there. We're going to check the temp when we go in. And then as we talk about some of this networking capability, we'll then come back over, check the temp, and I need to do some mounting of the networking stuff to get everything set up. Let's take a look here in the barn door. All right, here's the comfort zone heater. Some of you guys were asking me if I could talk a little bit more about how well it was working. I didn't get to that to the end of the other video. So let's hit the power on. So according to the thermostat on the unit, it says it's 45 right now. So let's try this thing out. I have not used this. I bought it to use on my Blackstone grill, or griddle. I found that it's a little bit wonky in how it shows up. So let's just point it up here. I'm gonna point it over here. 39.40. Let's see up here, 39.41. I think it's getting some of the hot air blown in here. That's already jumped up to 50. So I need to get like a thermometer that's just a old school one, analog one out here on the wall. Let's see. So I'm not sure what to think of this thing. You know, from way over here it says it's putting out, it's all over the map, 50 to 90 to 110. So I don't know what to tell you about this. This is, all I can tell you is I can feel the heat coming off. The thermostat on the unit is climbed already to 52 from 45. Don't know what to think about that, but we're going to close the door in here, come back in here when we do the internet setup and see what it looks like. For those of you that are new to the channel, or maybe some of you who just haven't been around long enough to know the lay of the land, this is the cabin that we bought about 9 years ago. There's the pond over there. The neighbor's property down there that we bought from. And then you can see that giant pole barn over there. That is Jason's darn barn, and his cabin is like right there. And then this is our barn dominium and our other neighbor over there. So that's just a quick view of where we are in these videos. Okay, so before we head back out to do the installation on this, let me try to wow you with my techno wizardry. Actually, that's exactly what I'm not going to do. If you need a expert to talk you through the installation on this, I'm the wrong guy. I'm just a simple guy who has been exposed to networking stuff for over 25 years. I get it enough to be dangerous. It makes logical sense to me, but I'm not going to be able to get into the bits and bytes. So I'm sure some of you watching this can do that, and we'll probably find some flaws in what I say. But we had a few individuals who saw our other video who said, hey, it would be great, and the winter's almost over. Help me get internet to my barn so that I can enjoy my barn through the last parts of winter. So this is what we're going to talk about. This wireless bridge. This one is from Olna, U-L-N-A. And this is a gigabit Ethernet, so high speed, higher speed than the one that I showed on our reviews channel a couple weeks back. This is a little bit more expensive and a little bit nicer than the other one. So these things are basically going to get mounted, one on the house, one on the barn door, pointed at one another, and they will beam the internet just as if we trenched that line with the backhoe and ran a connection between the two buildings. The crazy part is these are up to like 3 kilometers, like over 5 miles, if they are not obstructed in any way. So if you have got a building or, small city or town that you're trying to enable, you can use these. And one of these, I think, can beam to up to 3, maybe more. I think I saw in the example 3. So this would be considered the master connected to the house where the internet is. Each of these would be the slaves. They would be the receivers of the signal. And then you come out of those into other devices. And so that could be a whole nother building like what we're doing here, to where I come out of here, I can go into an access point and just give myself internet. I can come out of this and go into a switch, which allows me to go, one Ethernet plug in to many other devices. Or a router, and have different LAN systems. I'm not going to go any further than that because I'm already starting to confuse myself. But the gist of this is this replaces that cable point to point, okay? And turning these on and powering these up is so simple. You have a power over Ethernet. This is your Ethernet cable, your network cable, right? Comes with it. Comes with 2 power adapters. On the bottom, it says PoE, or on the side, PoE and LAN. So PoE means that's where my power is going, and I need it to go into one of the LAN ports here, which I would go into LAN 1. And then my network cable coming out of my router or my switch would go into here. So network in, power, and network out to the device. When I plug this in, it's going to power up. I'm going to see lights here. But more importantly, there's a channel indicator down here that's going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can set it to whatever. I need that to be the same on both of these. So before I go install it, I'm going to power them up, set them down, and make sure that I'm on the same channel. Good news is, out of the box, they both came already set to the same channel. I changed it just so they weren't on the default from 1 to 2 or 2 to 3, whatever. And there's also a little dip switch in there that says AB. A is master, B is slave. A, master, connects to the internet. Slave is the receiving side. That's all you really need to know. I also got these great mounts from Olna as well. And again, all of this stuff was sent to me free of charge to test out, which was a beautiful deal because I need internet in the barn. I get virtually no internet because that's a metal building. And one of the viewers, Jim, had mentioned he doesn't get it in his barn. I think you're up in Michigan, Jim, if I'm not mistaken. And he's got like 7 inches of insulation. He said wood barn, but I can't get any signal, just too far away. So we're only going about 105 to 120 feet. I'm going to mount one of these to the side of the house here. Where I'm mounting it, I may have interference. We'll see, but I don't think so. And then this is going to get bolted onto the barn dominium, and then my cables will get drilled and put inside the building. Eventually, I will have upstairs and downstairs internet enabled. That's it. That's the gist of it. Let's get these installed, hook them up, and then we'll see what kind of speeds we're getting over there. But my hunch is we're going to get the same speeds we get in the house because I've tried them before and they work that good. So stick around. Okay, so for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to mount onto this right here. I have my power over Ethernet enabled connection from inside the house, which I already had out here for a router or an access point. So we're going to plug that in, see if we get power here. We have power. I've got red light coming on. So now I'm going to put on my waterproof cover, which I will come back and I will disable this other port and I will fill this other spot so we don't have any critters making a home inside of this thing, which they like to do. Ants and stuff like that do. So some silicone will be fine. Let's cover that up. So I just have a zip tie we're going to put through the back of this and around this pole. This is where I thought I might have some interference because my electricity and my cable are all on this thing. Bearing in mind, I need to point that towards the barn door. Pretty good. We'll figure it out if it's just needs to be moved. So there we go. Next stop, looks like 3-4 feet above that garage door on the corner. Okay, so I decided, based on the fact that it's cold out and I'm sick, I'm gonna make a quick install here instead of getting a ladder out, trying to get this all hooked up permanently to the building. So I got this board set up here and it's pointed pretty directly at that up there. So let's hook it up and see what we got. So we're gonna get our power over Ethernet hooked in here. So we plug this into PoE and our power from inside. We've got power there. They're communicating and we got full bars. So the LAN 1, LAN 2 means there's nothing actually traversing it right now. So let's go inside and hook up the laptop. Okay, so things got a little clunky where I was not getting power over Ethernet to my access point. So I went ahead and put the power over Ethernet adapter back on. So we're coming out of the bridge into the, as my LAN cable, into the power over Ethernet, which is plugged in to the Wi-Fi access point. So here we are now. Look for our Wi-Fi access point. Here we got Wavelink AC, Wavelink in. Okay, so we're hooked up to the Wavelink here, which is hooked up to the bridge outside. We got 50 down and about 5 up, maybe 6. So something's up with my configuration. I need to check that out, figure out why the Wavelink is giving me such poor throughput. When I hook direct to the bridge, I'm getting much higher. So something on my configuration here, but that's still pretty darn good. So I'm going to call that a successful test. And I do have other equipment that I plan on putting in here. I just didn't want to unpack it all today because I'm not entirely sure that that's what I'm going to use. But basically, we got a good test there. All right, so as I told you, average guy doing networking, not any kind of techno wizardry. So apologies, got a little convoluted there at the end, but we've got a Wi-Fi signal in here, and it works pretty well. So my plan is to come in to a switch, a powered switch, and then out to all of my other devices. And so we'll have a TV in here, we'll have other things, we'll probably put some cameras up. So everything will be running off of that powered switch instead of power over Ethernet infusers like what I just had to do there. I mentioned that we'd come back in here. It's 64 degrees now, feels really nice. It's 30 degrees outside. It's very comfortable in here, and I think it'll be a nice temperature to stay in here and work for the rest of the afternoon. So I'm going to do a networking diagram here at the end. I'll list some of the equipment that I've used. Feel free to ask me questions. I'm going to continue to mess around with it. We're going to set one up over at the Darn Barn as well. And so I'm confident that we're going to have good success with this. It's just a matter of getting the right pieces of equipment. And I think those bridges work well. I just need to make sure we've got a good access point on the other end and that I've spent some time doing the configuration. So this was a little bit of a rush job based on my current being under the weather. So thanks a lot for watching. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.